What is up, fam? It is Shar, and welcome to Living in Color, where I provide quick tips and experiences on the law school process and legal field as a person of color. Now, I'm sure you go on Reddit, you go on, Google, you go probably mostly Reddit, but you go on Instagram pages and you go on YouTube and you try to figure out, okay, what are some of the things that people wish they knew before entering law school, or maybe going into their second year of law school, or whatever the case may be. What are some of the things that people wish they knew? I'm going to tell you some of the things that I wish I knew. It may sound a little redundant, but I feel like most of it is pretty nuanced just based off of my experience. So hopefully it helps. First things first is scanning your textbooks instead of buying your textbooks or renting them. So my 1L year, the thing that I experienced the most was a lot of back pain carrying my books to and from class and to and from home. A big thing for that is, okay, well, let me try to get the online versions of the book. So I would go hunting for PDF versions and stuff like that. But I found myself at a loss because a lot of the times I couldn't find these PDF versions. I might find one for one class, but I couldn't find any for another class, especially the more niche the class, right? So after I experienced 1L, I started to experience classes with textbooks that just wouldn't have a PDF. So one day I'm in the library and I see some people scanning textbooks. And I'm like, are you and I recognize the textbook and I'm like, are you scanning, textbook for let's say torts? And they're like, yeah, I just scan it, upload it on my computer, just put it on my computer. I was like, oh my God. And so then I look on the catalog, and of course the school has all of the textbooks all of the professors ask you to have. You can just only have them for I think around 5 hours. You can't have them beyond that. And I'm like, oh, I could just check the book out, scan the pages I need for that week, and then just upload them onto my iPad. As a result, I did need to have a USB drive, and I already had one, so this was very handy because when you try to scan email, you can only scan so many documents, so you should have a USB. It saved me so much money. I didn't end up buying one book this semester or last semester. I ended up just scanning all of my books. Biggest con is taking the time to scan them. So I didn't scan every day. It would just be towards the end of the week, I would scan readings for the next week. That way I wouldn't have to worry about scanning them until the end of the week. Another thing I wish I knew was pre-writes. Of course, I didn't know what pre-writes were going into law school. I think the first time I heard about a pre-write was after I had already taken my first exam. And essentially what it is that you are writing out your rule statement before you write it out on the exam. The point of pre-writes is twofold. First, you are better digesting the material because you are learning how to articulate what is in your notes into a paragraph, which you would have to have for the exam. And then second, you are saving time on the exam because you have fully fleshed out the rule statement that you would put on the exam. You have more time, not just on the exam in general, but more time for your analysis, leaving it to be a better exam, and then also a really, really good study aid. The con is that it takes more time in your studying to flesh out pre-writes. So instead of just working on an outline and then just doing practice problems, now you're adding another layer to your studying, which is to make pre-writes. Do you think it's worth it? You better digest the information. And if you have a timed exam that is open book, it's a game changer. Next thing I wouldn't necessarily say is something that I wish I knew. I knew about Quimbee, and that's why I proceeded to get one, but I split it with a friend of mine, and it saves a lot more money. I know it's not super duper expensive. I believe it's $40-50, but when you split it, it just makes it that much more cheaper, and you can have up to 2 people on the account at a time. The question is whether you should have a Quimbee account or not. I think Quimbee is definitely beneficial your 1L year because you don't know how to write a case brief. You don't know how things are supposed to look. Maybe you might read some confusing cases. This is your first time in law school, so you haven't read a case before. And sometimes you're going to read antiquated language from judges that are super duper redundant. You won't be able to sift through what you need to know, what you don't know. And then Quimbee is very helpful for that. But when you enter your 2L and 3L year, it becomes less of a aid, mainly because you are probably taking more specialized classes that may not have cases that are on Quimbee. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that it's just less likely for you to just really hinge on it. Now, everyone's different. Some people are huge advocates of Quimbee. I personally am just not. I'll go on it from time to time, but I will say by 2 year, I don't think I've gone on it more than 1 or 2 times. I also wish I knew to use Barbri more. I got acquainted with Barbri in law school. So I knew about Barbri before because they had the whole pre-law course and all that. But I got more familiar with the Barbri study aids with civil procedure, and it helped like amazingly with civil procedure. That was not my class, and Barbri pretty much got me through that class. So I would definitely say utilize Barbri as much as possible where it is helpful. I wouldn't say rely on Barbri by any means. Don't rely on the lessons, don't rely on the questions or the assessments that they offer, but definitely use it as a study aid. It is absolutely free. All you have to do is sign up with your school email and you have all those resources. So please use it, especially 1L. I think it's very, very, very beneficial for 1L, and it's also very beneficial if you plan on taking the NPRE anytime soon. I know you may hear, and like with E&E in law school, like before you get to law school, you hear a lot of people say E&E. It's examples and explanations. It's like a whole book series that pretty much provide you with hypos that you can work on. It's a popular thing. A lot of people use it in the midst of school to just further cement concepts in their head, but more commonly people use it as a study aid during finals, because professors may not give you a ton of sample exams. They might not give you a ton of practice issues or practice problems to work on, so you use the E&Es. My biggest tip is not necessarily buying an E&E book. It is not buying an E&E book. And a lot of law schools, their libraries will offer them for free. So Duke offers E&Es for free on their library catalog, and they'll have them online as well as have their physical copies. And you can use them whichever way you prefer, but you do not have to pay for them. So please don't buy E&Es. Also, if your library does not offer that, you might have an affinity group or some type of organization on campus that has a book bank in which you could borrow E&Es. I highly recommend doing that, and just seeing if those types of book banks exist on your campus saves you a ton of money in the long run. Next thing is to always have snacks, especially 1L year. You're going to be on campus all day. Do not go on campus with just a lunch. You will spend a lot of money buying snacks to help you have energy throughout the day. I was on campus pretty much like a 9 to 5, and I was definitely hitting a lull about 2 or 3 p.m. The only thing that would give me any energy is to have a snack or multiple snacks. My advice is to always pack some healthy snacks, fruit, yogurt, whatever it may have you, because if you pack stuff with high sugar in it, like candy, you will experience a crash. And that's just not beneficial if you have work to do later on in the day. And also take a nap throughout the day if you need to. Some libraries offer like bean bags and stuff. I personally don't use them because I'm a little bit of a germaphobe when it comes to that kind of stuff. But take naps when you need to. If you need to go to your car and take a nap, whatever. The days can get very long in law school just because you're using your brain all day long. So make sure that you're keeping your energy up. The last thing that I wish I knew was to buy multiple charging cables. I have 2 charging cables for my laptop. I have one that is connected at all times at home to charge to my monitor. And then I have one in my portable charger case. That way I don't have to constantly plug and unplug the same one charging cord. Second, I have 2 or 3 USB-C chargers for my iPad and my iPhone, so I have them to stay here at home at all times, but also have ones that are in my little portable case that I keep in my backpack. It just saves me time from plugging and unplugging. It might be like very like small, like sorry, you could use the same cords, and you can. The biggest con is the fact that you have to buy more cords. So this is preferential. Do it if you take it with a grain of salt. But I will say it gets very annoying having to plug and unplug. And my plugs are not in the most convenient space, so I have to like go down and dig in the depths of my desk to plug stuff up. So it's just like, it saves me so much more time to just have it another ready already in my bag. So hopefully this is some new information that you already haven't received. And as always, peace, guys.